YouTube, what's the deal? It's your girl Jahira, and I am back. Back to welcome you to the very first in my Give Me Face makeup video series. So, if you look back on my first video, where I'm talking about possibly doing makeup reviews in the future, yeah, well, clearly this channel has gone a wee bit to the left from that original idea. But here's the thing. I am a licensed makeup artist. I've discussed that in a couple of my videos. And I wanted to give people an opportunity to see me at my craft and maybe pick up some tips that you can use in your own day-to-day existence. So, here's the deal. I have got this event that I've got to be at on the 19th of February. It's a very kind of shishi-foo-foo, black tie situation, soiree. It's going to require a very, very stern evening look. I mean, we're not going for subtlety here, people. I've really got to pop. So I've had this idea in my head of what I wanted to do makeup-wise, and I figured, you know what? Why not just walk my subtastics through it, and we can see where it goes from there. So, it's going to be a 3-part video. There will be 2 to follow this intro. And we are going to start with the face. So, constructing a basic evening face for an evening event. So, stick with me. And, yeah, let's hope this works. Okay, I changed my mind again. We can do it in 3 parts. Let's get to it, people. Now, my lighting is not the best, and I do apologize for that, but I am, I believe, coming at y'all in HD, so hopefully you'll get a true sense of what I'm working with. As of right now, I have absolutely nothing on my face, nothing at all, except for a very light application of moisturizer, which is just going to allow the skin to breathe a little and help the makeup adhere a little better to your face. So, having gotten started with that, my face is completely clean at the moment. So the first thing I always do, I mean always without fail, and again, as far as the order you go in with putting on products, I mean, you know, it's really whatever you feel is necessary. Don't take, you know, it's just asinine. Some people choose to do an eye look first and then apply the rest of their face. That personally does not work for me. I have to do my face first and then focus on the eyes. But the very first thing that I do before anything is conceal. Now, I was born and have grown up with these horrendously dark circles under my eyes and in the corners. And I mean, it's just, that's what I deal with. I have really, really pronounced dark circles. So the very first thing that I do is conceal my eyes. Now this speaks to, you know, multi-uses of different products because technically this is a pressed powder for your face. At the moment I am using the e.l.f. Clarifying Pressed Powder. I believe this color is Rose Beige. But in my experience, it makes one of the best concealers that I've ever used. So for me, I just dab, I start in the inner corner of my eye, and I work my way out. I make sure to get under my eyelid, at the bottom lid. This is your bottom lid, people. This is your top lid. This is your crease. This is your brow bone. This is your brow. I just felt the need to tell y'all that. So I start at the inner corner and I just swipe across and then I look up and swipe across my bottom lid. And we repeat the same thing on the other side. Sweeping across and then looking up and sweeping across. And you know, I check my work and stuff like that just to make sure that I got in my inner corners. Like if you see here, I've missed a spot. So I gotta just dig in there and make all that happen. And I usually take this all the way up to the brow bone because I really want a bare canvas for when I will eventually do my eyes. Now, as far as concealing other areas, I mean, you can really just, again, concealer is meant for trouble spots, blemishes, acne, blackheads, moles that you'd like to cover. I mean, it really does what it says it's supposed to do and conceal. So we move on to foundation. Now, generally, I would not do this, but because, again, this is an evening look, I'm going to be doing layering of foundation. So I'm starting off with a liquid. This is Maybelline's Dream Liquid Mousse. And hell if I know what shade it's in. Nude. I'm a nude. So there are a lot of girls out there, well, there are a lot of people out there who use really expensive foundation brushes, who use makeup wedges, who use puffs and buffs, and all of that works. And I recommend it all if that's what works for you. For me, myself, when it comes to smooth application, when it comes to even distribution, and when it comes to being able to control exactly how much product ends up on my face, nothing has worked better for me than my fingers. So, I just dot. We're kind of making the sign of the cross here, people. And then I blend. I find it easier to start in the middle of your face and work out. But again, whatever methodology you choose to employ works for you. That works for you, you should use. Now, what you just saw me do is something I highly recommend, especially if you are talking about an evening event or anywhere where you might be photographed. One thing that I will say, I mean, unless you're going for kind of goth or trash, not to say that they're one and the same, I'm just saying, but one thing you saw me do is blend my foundation down. I highly recommend that because the one thing that as a makeup artist, I hate to see are lines of demarcation. Now, what is a line of demarcation? When you see that a woman's foundation ends right here and her neck is a completely different color than her face, you've got a big freaking problem. So, in order to avoid that, you take your makeup to the jawline, as I will do again, and just work your way down the neck. And even if you're going to be photographed at a funny angle, a little bit behind the ears, call it perfume, not a bad thing at all. So, that is the first layer of the foundation that I will be applying. Again, it didn't take more than 2 dots, less than the size of a dime, and I've got a face covered for the most part. But what I'm going to do now is a second application. Why? Because I'm looking for fuller coverage than I would normally use on a day-to-day basis. And when you use any mineral foundation, it also acts as a powder. So you don't need to put powder on top of that, unless, of course, you have died. And if that's the case, I'm very sorry for your family's loss. But this is the L'Oreal True Match Naturel in some funky color. Nude beige. I'm just nude all over the place, people. Disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. So, I've got tons of this. Now, this is what I do, because sometimes the product ends up in the applicator, like in the inside of the applicator, rather than where it needs to be. So I just take the back of it and kind of pat. But again, with something like this, a mineral foundation, a little bit goes a very long way, and you are doing your skin a huge service by using something like this. And once again, with a mineral foundation, you don't need powder. So, again, I always start in the middle of my face and kind of buff my way out. Once again, traveling below the jawline so as to avoid a line of demarcation. Oh, I do employ foundation over my lips because, well, I'll get to that in the lips section, but I promise there is a reason. And I recommend that you do as well. Making sure to get under the eye, people, right in that corner and all the way out, because you're going to want to blend your concealer in with your foundation. Concealer, traditionally should be lighter, or at least one shade lighter than your natural skin tone. But again, you don't want to be spotty, I'm all light up here and then all of a sudden I'm something else down here. So it's just a quick blending job. Actually, when I was in college, for one of my humanities electives, I took a professional speaking course, which I really only took because I needed the credit. I've been speaking professionally for God knows how long. But I had to give a demonstrative speech, which is kind of like giving an infomercial. And I used this foundation to put on a full face of makeup without a mirror in front of my whole class. I got an A. So yeah, and now again, with The mineral foundation, I am putting a little excess under my eyes. Actually, I'm putting kind of a lot under my eyes. And the reason why I'm doing this is because when it comes time to do my eyes, I want to avoid fallout. Now, fallout is when your makeup products, yeah, everybody needs a makeup shirt. This is actually my makeup shirt, which is to say if something falls on it, I give a shit because this is never going to be worn outside. But anyway, when you experience fallout from shadows, especially if you're dealing with loose eyeshadows, pigments, glitter, anything along those lines, it'll fall right here. And it's kind of a bitch to get off, excuse my language. Well, don't excuse my language, you know my channel. So using this under the eyes and sort of packing it on, it's going to catch any pigmentation or any loose mica from your eyeshadows that might fall onto your cheeks. And once you brush it off, it also acts as a natural highlighter for the under eye area. So there we are. So I am all foundationed up. And I guess now is as good a time as any to, you know what? Let's stop right here. And then next video, we are going to move on to cheeks and contouring. So stay tuned. I'll be back. Hey, you guys. I wanted to come in really quickly at the very end of this to do something that I had attempted to do before I put the face on, but I wanted to talk to you guys really quickly about some makeup theory. As a makeup artist, I truly do believe that there are no rules when it comes to makeup. Throw the rule book out of the damn window. If you want, you know, blue lips and red eyelids, work that thing out to the best of your ability. Make it work for you and rock on. I'm all for it. It bothers me when I hear people talk about trends and this is in and that's out and you can't do this and you shouldn't do that. It really, really bugs the hell out of me. What I'm offering y'all are guidelines. And again, when it comes to my day-to-day life, in terms of makeup, I do what I call a brow, a beat, and a lip. I, pencil in my eyebrows because they're thin and sparse. I, do a light application of powder or my mineral foundation, and I'll do a gloss, and I'm out the door. I don't deal with mascara. I don't deal with, shading and major colors and stuff like that. It's just not the life that I live. However, this is an evening event. It is a black tie, major dressy, stilettos, cocktail dresses, gloves, the whole nine. It's a big deal. So what I'm giving you is makeup for an evening event. Now, if you've liked what you've seen so far, by all means, keep watching. If you can take away something from this video and the two videos that will follow, no, the three videos, because it's going to end up being 4 parts. The 3 videos that will follow all of this, that's excellent, that's perfect. I look forward to hearing your comments and your thoughts and all that. If you can't, shoot, wait for the next series. But I would love for y'all to take something away from this, but I just want you to bear in mind, this is not something I personally would ever do every day because I don't have that kind of time. It is an evening look. So with that being said, stay tuned for part 2. Where I will be performing cheeks. Later, y'all. One love. Part 2 coming soon.